Welcome back everyone, I'm Kate Plays Games. As you can see, this is FTL, the science fiction roguelike adventure game, and it's time for us to once again set forth to save the Federation from the threat of the rebel fleet. So let's select new game. We have been working our way through the B class of ships, and today's candidate is going to be this, the Federation Cruiser Type B. As we can see, it starts with 3 crew, a human, a Zoltan, which will act as a mobile battery. They provide 1 power cell in any room they inhabit, and we have 1 slug. This is the layout of the ship. It doesn't look too bad. Venting out these 2 front rooms may be a bit of a problem. The only airlocks close to them are here in the middle, so it takes time for the oxygen to vent out. The back of the ship is much easier. There's more airlocks here to vent it out. Weapons wise, it begins with dual lasers, which is one of the best weapons in the game, because for the cost of 1 power bar you get 2 shots per cycle, and it cycles up in only 10 seconds. And we have a little baby Leto missile, which is pretty much the weakest missile in the game. It takes 9 seconds to charge up. It fires 1 missile, which will pass through 5 layers of shield, and it does 1 damage. And the other weapon it has is the special system, the artillery beam, very similar to the A-type layout. This powers up quite slowly, and when it fires you have no control over it. It just chooses a section of the enemy ship, draws a big line across it, and does 1 damage per room that it hits. This ship begins the game with this powered up at level 2, so it cools down in 40 seconds. So every 40 seconds, which is quite a long time, the artillery beam will fire. It goes through all shields. Unlike most other beam weapons, normal beam weapons you have to take down the shields for them to work. This thing goes straight through shields. So theoretically you could just build your fit around face tanking and waiting for that thing to spool up and then let it kill ships all on its own. Yeah, we've got a decent number of other systems, so let's get started. We'll just play on easy just because it's fun. Here we go, the data we are carrying is vital to the remaining Federation fleet. We need to get across 8 sectors of space. Right, where am I going to put my people first? I'm going to put the slug in piloting, simply because I want the human in guns, because humans skill up faster than other people. If we mouse over the weapons, as we see, he gets a 10% faster weapon charge right now. And when he trains up to green, he will get 15%, and when he trains up to gold, he will get 20%, and he trains up in only 58 levels. If we mouse over the slug and mouse over weapons, he needs 65 shots, so humans skill up 10% faster than everyone else. I'm going to leave Zoltan in engines because, as we see, it is providing 1 yellow power bar, and he won't ever have to move. He'll just stay in here. The only problem is he only has 70 health, and this is a large room, so if we get boarded and everyone runs in here, Debbie's probably just going to have to leave the room or die. Okay, apparently we have 3 spare power bars thanks to Debbie, so it looks like right at the start of the game we can have everything powered up all the time. This is great. This means that when we get our first upgrades, we can depower some things and put these excess power bars in it, like the med bay. We don't need the med bay to be on all the time. So this is very good. Is there anything we want to spend our starting currency on? I'll have a look. Artillery beam needs 50, weapons needs 25, oxygen needs 25, engines needs 15. I don't think there's anything we need to do at the minute. What I would quite like to do is save up 50 money and immediately buy the second layer of shields. Shields, as we see on the right hand side, you get 1 extra shield barrier for every 2 power bars you buy, so you need 50 money to get to the next shield barrier, and then 100, and then 180. So let's have a look at the map. This is where we need to be, the exit. Green dots are where we can go. We'll just mouse over and check where everything connects to each other. The enemy fleet appears on the left hand side of the map and advances a certain distance every turn. And what you want to do is to stay just ahead of the enemy fleet, hit as many of these yellow pings as you can, earn as much money as you can. These blue ones are the nebulas, which slows down the enemy fleet. Also turns off our own sensors so we can't see anything when we're in there. I think we'll come south. Looks like there's more yellow pings down here, and it looks like they're fairly well connected. I think we'll go directly south and then cut maybe northeast. That looks quite good. Let's go. You arrive at a populated sector. One merchant seems to be mass broadcasting a request for a mercenary ship to aid them. Yes, we'll respond. And he wants us to deliver some drone parts a little distance away. And he gives us the 5 drone parts he wants us to deliver. And we now need to get to this quest. That's good. We were aiming to go there anyway. That's good. In this game, there is no penalty for not doing quests. They're just optional. Okay, there's a store here. That's where we can buy and sell upgrades. So I think we want to hit as many pings as we can before the enemy fleet hits the store, and then go to the store and then try and get ahead. The captain of this ship claims he can improve services as long as you've got the scrap. We can hire him to delay the rebels. That will halt the rebels for 1 turn. We can hire him to scout the sector, which reveals what each ping on the map is. We can fight the ship, or we can say we have no need for your services. Let's just fight the ship, because why not? Mercenaries are worse than rebels. The only honourable course is to engage a mercenary in battle. Right, I'm going to do what I call the PIE method. That's P-I-E. P stands for pause, I stands for identify, and E is evaluate, basically how I'm going to kill them. So I've done the pausing bit. Let's identify. This is a heavy laser. It fires 1 shot, which will take down our 1 layer of shield, and will do nothing else. This is a missile. Could be a Leto, could be an Artemis, does between 1 and 2 damage, passes through all shields. The only defense against that is our evasion. So there's a 20% chance that their missile will miss, and that's as high as we can get it, because that's as high as our engines go. Now, I can see the crew marked in red because I have a slug, and slugs have a special ability that they can see enemy crew. These are 2 mantises. Now that's interesting, because mantises are really terrible at fixing things. Luckily for us, they don't have a teleporter, so they cannot board us, which would be bad for us, because mantises are really good at killing people in face-to-face combat. So how are we going to kill these guys? Well, first things first, we need to turn off their missile. Now, luckily, it looks like they don't have anyone in their weapons room, which means their weapons should charge up slower than ours, because we do have someone here. That is this white icon here. As you see, the shield is black because there's no one in shields, so our weapons charge up 10% faster. So what we need to do is to get our Leto and our dual lasers into their weapon room, and hopefully turn off their missile before it fires. Not quite. No, well, they hit an empty room and did 1 damage. That's fine. Okay, we've knocked our missile launcher offline, and one of their mantises is in there trying to fix it. It's not going to go well for them. Missiles are a consumable resource. As we see, we had 9 and now we only have 8. So I'm not going to fire the missile anymore. I will just keep trying to shoot this room with the dual lasers. There we go. Now both the weapons are off, and this mantis is going to take forever to fix them. And I'm just going to chill out. Because if you damage the enemy too much, they try to escape, and then that gives you the time between their FTL charging up and your weapons charge time to stop them from escaping. I'm just going to wait for our artillery beam, because it's almost full. That'll draw a big long line across their ship, do lots of damage, and we'll see where we are after that. These swines have got the missile launcher back online. Okay. Now they realise they're in trouble. There's a massive beam weapon hitting them, and they're offering us 1 fuel, 2 missiles and 14 scrap to leave them alone. No surrender. Okay, our beam laser drew a big long line across the ship, and they've now stopped trying to fix their weapons, because enemy are obsessed with their shield room. That's something you can use to manipulate the enemy crew. If you want them to stop fixing the weapons, you can either keep shooting the room, which can be bad sometimes, because it causes, if it starts a fire, then potentially a second crew member will run in to put the fire out, and then they'll both stay in that room, and it will actually speed up the repair of that room. Or you can shoot the shield room and make them leave the room and work on the shields, which is what we've done. Now their piloting is offline, it's red, and that means their evasion is now 0, so anything we do to them will hit. So we'll just finish them off with a dual laser. Doesn't matter where it hits. Okay, they resisted that because this is a rock ship, and rock ships have a 15% chance to negate any hull damage, and that is what happened there. But don't worry, this spools up in 9 seconds. They're not going to get any of this fixed by then. Now they're dead. Okay, they were offering us 1 fuel, 1 drone, a couple of missiles and 14 scrap to leave them alone, and instead we killed them and we got 1 fuel, 1 drone part and 20 scrap. That's good. That gives us the 50 scrap I want to buy 2 more shield bars. And now what we can do is turn off the med bay, maybe depower the engines, reducing our evasion to 15%, but double up our shield bubbles. This is blue here. So now anything that fires 2 shots will just take down our 2 shields and not actually harm the ship. Do this as early as you can in the game, because the first couple of sectors of the game, not very many enemies will fire more than 2 shots. Of course, it won't do anything against missiles, but if we come up against the missile adversary, we can just slow down the spool up of our beam weapon and turn the engines back up to 20%. Okay, distress call. These are random events. This may generate another quest marker somewhere, and this is the enemy fleet. It is not game over if you get caught by the fleet, but you do have to partake in a particularly difficult fight, and the only reward for winning the fight is 1 unit of fuel, which lets you escape. So let's have a look at this distress call, and then we'll go to the store. You locate a nearby human mining colony where an unknown disease has spread. They're setting up quarantine to contain it, but a riot has broken out. Now, I am just going to ignore their request to move on, because there is a high risk that we could lose one of our only 3 crew members. So, number 2, sorry, I'm not risking my crew. If we had an upgraded medical centre, or if we had an NG crew member, then we would have got an extra option. But we don't have any of those things, so we're moving on. We don't have any money, so I don't think there's any point to go to the store. We don't have anything to sell either. You cannot sell your excess missiles or drone parts, so we're just going to go directly east and then north. No point going to the store. You detect a rebel scout on attack approach to a small refueling outpost. Their weapons are charged, but they're not firing yet. Right, let's have a fight, number 1. Okay, let's pause. Let's identify. They have a little laser that does 1 shot. Literally cannot do anything to us. So we are immune to whatever these guys can do. This thing's a little bit annoying. This is a defense drone. This orbits around the edge of their shield bubble and will attempt to shoot down any incoming missiles. It doesn't always hit, it just has a really high chance. And looks like they have 3 humans and the drone control. Could be other drones in that room. Slugs unfortunately cannot detect drones, they can only detect living beings. So what I think we'll do, I'm going to depower the missile because there's no point firing it because the defense drone will shoot it down. I'm going to power up the engines. Even though these guys cannot hurt us at all, it would be good if they missed, because when they miss, our piloting skill will get 1 tick and our engines will also get 1 tick, so both of these guys will get trained up if they miss. When the shields get taken down, no one's getting any training because we don't have anyone in the shield room. If we mouse over people, we will see that you do indeed get training. I'm just going to wait for the artillery beam to fire and then I'll work out what to do with the dual lasers after that. Yes, it does mean just kind of doing nothing for 40 seconds, but that's kind of how this ship works. It's nice when you find enemies that cannot hurt you. It's lovely. I mean, theoretically, what I could do is just go AFK and wait, and very probably turn off the beam laser, and then Debbie and Ferry will get 30 points in engines and piloting and both become gold trained. As I said, when they do get trained up, their performance in that particular room gets better, so that would put our evasion way up to something like 30 or 35, simply by the fact that the crew got trained. But that's a little bit too boring. Okay, artillery beams fired. It's destroyed the piloting, so anything we fire the dual lasers at will take 2 damage because they have no shields either. The shield room's been damaged, this guy's fixing it. Weapon room's been damaged, this guy looks like he's doing the firefighting animation, so there's a fire in there as well. And the guy in piloting is running into the weapon room to put the fire out. I am going to fire the dual lasers into this room. Because every time a room takes damage and someone is in it, whoever is in that room will take 15 points of damage. So we're about to do 30 points of damage to these guys. And they're in a room which is currently on fire. So they'll take fire damage per second from that as well. So let's just unpause. So the guys just took 30 points of damage as well as the fire. And we could have started more fires because this laser does have a possible effect of causing more fires. There is one thing you can do in this game, which is to kill all the enemy crew without destroying the ship, and that gives you enhanced rewards. That's just what I'm thinking about here, but I don't think there's any chance. Now, they put the fires out. They're repairing all the stuff. The shields are about to come back online because this guy's going to repair them. There we are. So we'll just put the dual lasers in the shields. And we'll just kill them. The ship breaks apart and we get 2 fuel, 1 drone and 25 scrap. And the refueling station gives us 2 fuel and 26 scrap. That's lovely. We've got 51 scrap to play with. I'm really tempted to put the artillery beam up to level 3 because then it spools up in only 30 seconds. Other things I like doing early on is oxygen, which means A, the oxygen refills faster if it gets breached, and B, it means if the oxygen room gets hit, it doesn't immediately break. It has 1 extra bar of damage. Or I like improving the doors to blast doors so that enemy that board the ship can be locked into one room and have to break down the door. At the minute, these orange doors, they can just run straight through them. Sensors is quite good so you can see what's happening on the enemy ship, but we have a slug so we don't really need that at the minute. Let's just do artillery beam because we are a Federation cruiser type B, and then we can depower the engines and put the third power into the artillery beam. So this now fires every 30 seconds. It appears at first you've arrived in an empty system, but a ship appears from behind a planet and hails you. Haha, I am the dread pirate Tuco. Prepare to die. Right. Let's pause, identify it. They have a little laser which does 1 damage and takes down 1 layer of shield, and they have a little mini beam, so it will draw a little line. Any room it passes will take 1 damage, minus 1 damage for each layer of remaining shield. So because we have 2 layers of shield, the laser will take down 1 of them, and the mini beam will spatter harmlessly off the remaining 1. They cannot hurt us, except this is a teleport room. And they have 2 humans and a rock, and it looks like the rock is moving to the teleport room, so this rock is going to board us. And because I did not spend any money on upgrading the doors, this rock is free to run around anywhere on our ship it wants. It will try to break systems, it will try and kill our crew. Rocks are annoying because they have 150 health, so wherever it goes we're going to have to pull people out of wherever they are and go and take care of this guy, hopefully in a large room where we can get a 3-on-1 and kill it before the teleporter cools down and he escapes. Okay, he's in the shields. Everyone needs to go in there and fight this guy. Now this is going to put an evasion to 0 because no one's going to be in piloting, but that doesn't matter because they cannot hurt us anyway. They could hurt us if this guy breaks the shields, but he's not going to get a chance. Here we go, we'll get a 3-on-1. Haha, take that. Stupid Rockman. Okay, 2 of our people have taken damage, so I'm going to put them in the med bay. We've got 1 spare power bar at the minute, so I'm going to put the med bay on. Human is healed, so you can go back on guns, which is where I want you to be. Alright, beam laser has fired. It's damaged and set fire to their shields, because this guy again is doing the putting out the fire animation. And we've destroyed the piloting, which means they have evasion 0. So I'm going to wait for this guy to get in the shield, and I'm going to fire the lasers at it, cause them more damage, hopefully set more fires. And everyone else is going to go back to their regular stations, and I'm going to turn off the med bay. Now one problem you had with Zoltans is that as they move around the ship, as you'll see, we had one spare power bar because he was in shields, and replacing that one power bar with his own power bar. So as they move around, you'll see that medbay will come online, then go offline, and then oxygen will get yellow, then that will get yellow, and that will get yellow. So if you're moving your Zoltan around the ship, they can mess up your power because they shift power bars into this reserve bank, and then when they leave the room, it tries to take it back out of the reserve bank and put it back into where it should have been, and it just becomes a nightmare. Okay, these guys are still trying to repair their shields, so more weapons in there, cause more damage. Okay, now they're offering us 4 fuel, 1 drone, and 12 scrap. No surrender. And I'm going to depower my big laser just a little bit, just to slow it down, because I'm hoping that these guys are now damaged enough that if we do one more dual laser, it'll kill them. Not quite. It blew up the ship, didn't quite kill the crew. Oh well. Ship explodes, leaving behind 2 fuel, 1 drone part, 20 more scrap. That's not enough scrap to upgrade anything. Okay, we've got a choice. A store, but we've only got 21 scrap, or a distress. Let's do the distress call. You find a number of ships fleeing from a small space station. You hail them and ask them what's wrong, and they say, help, there's giant alien spiders. Nope, we are not doing that. We can't risk fighting some unknown alien monster on every backwater station we come across. Because again, that's another event which has a really high chance of killing one of your crew. Now it looks like we've got enough time to do this one. Then the enemy fleet will be like here, and then that one, and then jump far ahead, do the quest, and then get to the exit. You spot a small rebel ship nearby. It seems to have been refitted for transport. Let's demand the surrender of their goods. You prepare to secure the cargo by force, but they don't want to fight, they're trying to escape. So, what we have to do is blow up these guys' engines or their piloting before their FTL charges up and they can run away. Now we have a bit of a problem. This is an enemy combat drone. This will fly around the ship and then fire and then reposition and fire again. And the rate of fire depends on how far it travels. Sometimes it will fly all the way up to here and shoot, and then fly all the way down here and shoot, and that will give our shields ample time to regenerate. But sometimes it will fly here and shoot, and then it will just fly here and shoot. And theoretically this thing can take down a couple of layers of shield, maybe even 3. So we're going to have to keep our shields at level 2. And their only other weapon is a missile. And what we know about missiles is that it passes through the shields, so we also want to have our engines up high. But we're also under time pressure because we need to blow up at least one of their 2 propulsion rooms to stop them escaping. So I'd rather have my missile online. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to depower the big beam, put it back to the 40-second cool up, spin up, and I'm going to put our own missile online. Now, we have an interesting decision to make in 1 second's time when both of our weapons become available for use. Where are we going to shoot them? We need to stop them from charging up their FTL. As I said, we can destroy their engines or destroy the piloting, or we can just drag this guy out of this room somehow by damaging something else. So I think I'm going to put them into their weapons and hopefully cause enough damage that this guy has to run out of this room to go and fix them. Fingers crossed. Didn't work. Damn it. But we did destroy their weapons, so our lethal missile now needs to go into the engines and destroy that. Oh, god damn, didn't quite do enough damage. That did. But now their missile's back online, so now we need to turn that back off. Then we need to, I mean, they're evasion 0 now because their engines are off. Piloting, I think. Okay, now both of their propulsions are off. I don't particularly want to fire my missile again. So, dual lasers in engines. We'll keep the missile on green. I'm not going to depower it. I'm going to leave it green. That means it's ready to fire. So if we need to, we can fire it in an emergency. Okay, FTL still delayed. This is good. Big beam's about to fire, and that will finish them off. There we go. Let's see what they had in their cargo. Oh, hello. 29 scrap and an ion bomb. Now, ion bomb is one of the best weapons in the game, so hurrah, we've just won the game. Bombs, unlike missiles, cannot be shot down by enemy defense drones. They simply teleport on board the ship and explode. And this thing does ion damage. And ion damage will... each strength of ion damage will remove some power bars from the enemy and keep them down for 4 seconds, I believe. So this thing does 4 ion damage. So anything it hits will be depowered a lot for a very long time. And that's why they're so damn good. But it does take a very long time to charge up. If we have a look mouse over it, it takes 22 seconds to charge up an ion bomb. But that is absolutely fine. If we find something with lots more shields than the dual lasers can deal with, we can just teleport the ion bomb into their shields, turn their shields off and then fire. But it doesn't matter because we have this massive beam which passes through all shields anyway. Okay, now we have 50 scrap to spend. What do we want to spend it on? I'm going to do oxygen and I'm going to do weapons. So in theory we can use the ion bomb and the lethal and the dual lasers all at the same time by simply turning off the big beam or oxygen and everyone just holds their breath. Right, let's do this ping and then get to the quest. Once you arrive, your screen lights up with warnings. A nearby pirate seems to have advanced hacking tools and they've tried to shut down your engines. We managed to keep them barely operational and then we move into attack. Now, as we see, one of our power bars has been removed from engines and we no longer get the crew bonus from having someone in engines, so our evasion has dropped down to 10%. This is a bad thing. Another bad thing is that these guys have a missile, which is really annoying, but they do only have a laser, which only does 1 damage, so we do not need 2 layers of shield. So I'm going to power up all of our weapons and get the big beam on maximum spool up. I'm going to put our missile into their weapon bay because I want to turn off their missile, and our dual lasers are going there as well. Turned it off, but we took 1 damage. Luckily it didn't cause a breach or start a fire or anything else annoying like that. I'm just going to keep firing our dual lasers at their weapons bay just to keep it turned off, and I'm going to wait for our big beam because that's just about to fire. Come on, big beam. There we go. Well, this is going to kill them. Take that, idiots. Big beam upgrades for the win. With the pirate ship destroyed, we get 4 fuel and 29 more scrap. Well, that's lovely. 29 scrap. I'm going to wait until we have 35 and then I'm going to buy the blast doors. Let's B-power all the things, get ourselves back to maximum defense. Then we'll move on to this quest where we're supposed to deliver 5 drone parts. We arrive and it's putting out a distress call. Strangely, there's no response to our hails. I'm just going to leave it alone. I don't want to take the risk. All that means is that we kept the 5 drone parts, but that's fine. Okay, let's do a nebula, because the enemy fleet will be slowed down by the nebula, so it'll go down to a crawl, and maybe we'll get the nebula, then that yellow one, then the exit. Oh balls. You find 2 heavily damaged ships floating nearby, the remains of a battle. You begin to harvest some useful debris when you hear the sounds of someone beaming aboard, followed by the shouts of a boarding party. So the scrap we got from the battle was 1 missile, 1 drone part and 21 scrap, but we do have intruders on board. And the storm warning we heard was this section of the nebula is experiencing a plasma storm, and that means we only have half of our maximum battery available. Now luckily we don't need very much. All we need is the medbay and the oxygen. We've been boarded by 3 humans. This is quite annoying. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run the Zoltan into the doors, because then we will get the bonus from the doors being manned. And then I'm going to methodically open all the doors pretty much the rest of the ship to vent out all of the oxygen and choke these guys out. And whilst we're doing that, the slug is just going to run into medbay. There we go, the doors have now gone silver, which means they're powered up. And the human's going to run into medbay as well. And I need to close this door and this door because I don't want the enemy to break through this door and kill Debbie. Because if Debbie's she's going to take damage from being punched and shot by these guys, and then she's going to have to run into medbay through deoxygenated rooms, and that will also cause health damage, and she's only got 70 health, so she might die. So I need to delay the length of time it takes for these guys to get to Debbie. Okay, looks like they're trying to break into the medbay now. This is a good thing. Here we are, they're all taking health damage. I'm actually going to let them in. And because our guys are taking healing from the medbay, and we're shooting these guys in the face at the same time, so that is a good thing. That means that both of our guys will get some close combat experience. Here we go, plus, and a couple of pluses. Here we go, we got 3 kills, hurrah! So we fought off the bad guys. Looks like our pilot got all 3 of these kills, and Nathan got 1. Not quite sure how that worked out. You know, we got boarded by 3 people, and we killed 3 people, but we've got 4 experience out of it, so, you know what, I'm not going to complain. What I did forget to do, apparently, was to save the positions of our crew. As we see, our oxygen level is down to 60, some of the rooms look a little bit pink, and it's slowly going to creep up as the oxygen supply gets replenished, but because we have level 2 oxygen, we'll just power it up, and yeah, it goes up very, very fast. I mean, that's just the second level of oxygen, so you can imagine how fast it goes up when it's fully powered at level 3. Level 3 oxygen is really nice because enemies can cause breaches, which are holes in the hull of the ship, and they have to be fixed before anything else is fixed, and breaches also vent oxygen. But if you have level 3 oxygen, you can open the doors, put the oxygen to maximum, and enough oxygen is being pumped into the room that it outweighs the amount which is being removed by the breach, so you can keep your oxygen level up when you have breaches. I think even level 2 can do that, I'm not quite sure. But I'm going to do one upgrade. I'm going to buy a door system. So now, when Debbie runs into doors, we get doors with striations, which are improved blast doors, which takes even longer for the enemy to break down. So that's good. Yep, we've got enough time to do this yellow ping and then the exit. The jump leads to an unremarkable binary star system. There's nothing to do here but waste one of our fuel. That's annoying. Well, we had lots of fuel anyway, so I'm not overly concerned. Okay, we're at the exit. We can go to the next sector when we're ready. Oh, there's intelligent life forms on a nearby planet. Let's investigate them. Okay, this is the first blue option we have. These are not always the best option. They're just an alternate option, which you get if you have certain systems or certain power levels of certain systems or certain crew members, which is what we have in our case. So I think we'll do the blue option. Our slug crew is going to try and telepathically communicate with these little creatures, and yes, they lead us to a long lost crash site, and we find an NG crew member. We managed to fix them up and we got ourselves a crew member. NG are great. They're really fast at fixing things up. They're really terrible at close combat. But Mara will now live in shields, which is great. So now the shields repair 10% faster, and each time we take shield damage, Mara will get 1 level of leveling up, which will make them better at fixing stuff up. And the good thing about shields is that it's like the least important of the main systems. So if we take any damage, Mara, the NG, can now run around and go and fix it really quickly. Good result, that. Alright, we've timed this one perfectly. The enemy fleet is just here, so it's time to get on to the next sector. And it opens the universe map. This is the game map. This is where we're trying to get to. These are the branching paths we can take. Don't really want to go through a nebula, even though we have might do a nebula. Red ones are hostile sectors, which means more fights, but guaranteed to have at least 1 store. As we said, purple or nebula, so almost all of it will be a nebula, which means your sensors won't work, you'll run into lots of plasma storms and lose half your power. But the enemy fleet will move really slowly, which gives you plenty of time to visit almost the whole map, but it does mean you burn through lots of fuel. And green sectors are civilian sectors, which have at least 3 stores. Looks like if we take the north route, we still have the option of doing 3 nebula sectors later on when we've got more power bars to spare. So I think we're going to go to the rock-controlled red sector. The rock people have a particularly aggressive stance towards alien races trespassing in their space. You should tread carefully here. Right, let's have a look at the sector map. Okay then, how do we get to the exit? Looks like we have to go up to the northeast. So I think we'll go this one, then this one, and then go backwards, and then go forwards. There's not very many pings here, and the exit is a little bit annoying. Okay, forwards and backwards. Oh balls. Your shields are being taxed as they deflect the debris from an asteroid field. As you weave your way between the rocks, you happen upon a rock pirate stronghold. You register teleport signals and hear shouts aboard the ship. Oh my god, everything's just bad. Right, danger. We're in an asteroid field. Periodically, asteroids will strike the ship, which means we definitely do need max evasion and max shields. Now luckily, these asteroids will also hit the enemy's ship periodically as well. This is an annoying weapon. They have an ion blast. This will remove 1 power bar from our shields for 4 seconds, but as we know, you need 2 power bars for each shield bubble. So this will remove 1 of our shield bubbles. This is a bad thing to happen in an asteroid belt. And they have a heavy laser, which if our shields are down, will do 2 damage. This is bad. They've got 2 rock crew members. Rocks are really slow to move. They've got 150 health. They're immune to fire damage. And they're flying a rock ship, which has a 15% chance to avoid hull damage. And they boarded us with 2 rocks, who are trying to destroy my lovely artillery beam. No, we need you to be there. Mara is going to have to go into doors. We're going to have to try and kill the rocks. So you're going to go in here and fight the rocks. You're going to go in here and man the doors. You need to stay there for the evasion. You need to stay there for the evasion. Weapons wise, I'm just going to power out the big beam and hope that the rocks don't destroy it. Okay, as soon as the guys go through, I'm going to start deoxygenating these rooms. This is just a delaying tactic because when they're fighting our crew member, they're not destroying the one and only weapon we're using to kill them. And that buys time for the oxygen to be evacuated from the ship. In fact, I'm going to turn the oxygen off as well, just to speed that process along a bit and move you up. And then I'm going to open these doors as well. And okay, good. They're coming this way. And it will take them a while to break down these doors. I've turned the oxygen off, so this room's going to vent out much faster. In fact, I really needed to turn the oxygen on. Open all these doors to restore the oxygen to these 2 rooms, because you need to go and get healed up in the med bay, because we're going to need you to fight the rocks. Okay, that's done. So let's turn the oxygen back off. Turn the med bay on. Okay, they've broken down the doors and now fighting the captain and the ship. But the captain's room's also going to become deoxygenated very quickly. There we go, let's do that. Now they're trying to break into shields, that's fine. Let's turn the oxygen back on, so the captain can go and get healed in the med bay as well. Now we've got evasion 0 because there's no one in piloting. Good, we've turned off their big laser with our big beam, which is taking some damage. So ideally, human. Ow, we took a damage from a rock. Yeah, they're gonna die. This is good. Right, now pilot, I'm going to close all the doors and I'm going to open them, which will equalise the pressure really quickly. Right, and then close all the doors again. Pilot, get back in piloting, get our evasion back up to 20. You have almost fixed the big beam, this is good. Everyone can go back to where they came from. They're on fire. I'm not sure what from, probably our beam. Okay, we got lucky there. Their ion actually hit us in the engines when the shields were down, so at least it didn't stop the shields from working, but it has reduced our evasion to only 10% for the next 8 seconds. Doesn't matter, big beam woke up and killed them. Wow, that was quite the thing. Ion pressure, asteroid pressure, being boarded pressure. That was just horrible. But we won. Mara looks like they took a little bit of oxygen damage probably. But they're fixed up now. But we won and we got lots of stuff. We cannot do any upgrades because we're still in danger. We're still in the asteroid field. Now I cannot go AFK and get shield and evasion training from the asteroid field because that would just be too much like cheating, so the game doesn't do that. As we see, when it missed, no one got any upgrades, so we'll just carry on. Whew, that was quite the thing. A rock captain hails you. It is improper of me to contact off-worlders, but this is an emergency. We were on our way to deliver our passenger to her new husband when our engines broke down. Will you take possession of the princess and make haste? Yes, okay. And we have a quest marker to deliver the bride here, which is kind of where we need to go anyway. So let's go backwards and then we'll just go straight east and go to the quest and head up here and get to the exit. As a naturally warlike species with few intergalactic diplomatic ties, the Rock people have garnered quite a reputation as fearsome pirates. You stumble across one of their ships and they promptly live up to type. Okay then, we are in trouble. This is a Burst Laser Mark II. It fires 3 shots. We've got 2 shields and only 20% chance of evasion, so they're probably going to be able to damage us. This is a bomb of undetermined nature. Unfortunately, you can only identify bombs when they're ready to fire, and then the warhead will spawn in here, and being an NPC ship, it will fire as soon as it's ready. So I've got a split second to see what kind of bomb they've got. How are we going to kill these guys? I'm going to put our Leto missile on and our dual lasers, and they both need to go into weapons. We need to knock down at least one of these 2 weapons, either of which can be really deadly. But we need to keep the evasion and the shields up. Okay, we managed to damage their Burst Laser 2 just before it fired. This is a very good thing. It's a small bomb, and they teleported it into an empty room. And as we see, bombs don't do any damage to the hull, they do damage to systems. This is a good thing. So I'm just going to keep firing our dual lasers at their weapons and keep the pressure on. And I'm going to depower the oxygen and power up the big beam. Yep, hit us in the weapons. That's really bad. So I'll power up the big beam even more. You can go and help fix the weapons. Oh, god damn. Big beam didn't damage their weapon system. This is bad. You need to get in here because we've got no evasion at the minute. Okay, turned off the gun again. That's at least something. Okay, that one missed. Don't know how because they've only got a 10% chance to miss. Depower that, put the dual lasers on, put you back in where you should be. God damn. These guys are annoyingly good at repairing their ship. No, need to keep that Burst Laser Mark II offline. Man, I've only got 2 missiles left. This is bad. Okay. God damn it. Like, before they explode, let's turn the oxygen back to max, put the medbay on, get Debbie and Nathan in the medbay. Ship explodes, leaving behind 3 fuel, 2 missiles and 30 scrap. The 2 missiles is good, we've still only got 4 missiles left, this is bad. What do we want to upgrade? probably mid-bay and piloting. But before we do that, I'm going to get everyone back to station. And I'm going to check the map in case there's a store next, but there isn't. So let's do mid-bay and piloting. A, to make their functionality better, so the mid-bay can now have 2 power bars and will heal people faster. Upgrading piloting speeds up how fast our own jump drive spills up, and even when someone is not on piloting, we still get a tiny bit of evasion. This is a good thing, as we saw in the fight with the rocks when we got boarded, and we were at evasion 0 for quite a while. Now we've got some evasion, and of course it means if this room takes 1 damage, it keeps working. And same thing with the piloting. The piloting can absorb 1 hit without being completely destroyed. This is also a good thing. And having higher skill power bars in systems will give us more blue options in events. All those reasons are good reasons to upgrade them. We encounter a rock vessel and attempt to open trading frequencies, but they take it as an act of cultural transgression and open fire. It's another rock ship with a missile, so immediately we need to try and break their weapons. They do only have 1 laser that does 1 shield damage, so we don't need 2 layers of shield. So these 2 spare power bars can now go into our big beam. I don't particularly want to fire a missile at these guys, so I may just let them fire their missile, which missed, but both of our shots missed as well. They're going to get to fire a second missile, which hit, but we've turned their missile off now. Just going to keep the pressure on their weapon room. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to press 2, which is the dual laser activation. I'm going to hold control, turns it yellow. When you do that, it means it will automatically fire every time it's ready at that room. You can press auto fire, and that will auto fire all of your weapons as soon as they're ready. But of course, weapons have different spool up times, so your weapons will all be firing at different times. It's not really what you want to do, which is why I did the individual auto fire by holding control. Right, that's these guys gone. We took a couple of points of damage from their missiles, but I couldn't expend any of our own missiles. We didn't have enough. We get 2 fuel, 2 missiles, and 32 scrap from that. That's pretty good. We're up to 6 missiles now. Still not great, but better than we were. Is there a store in sight? No, there isn't. What do we want to do? 49 scrap. Let's upgrade the sensors again, so it can take damage without being destroyed. It will give us more blue options, and level 2 sensors will let us see the status of the enemy's rooms. So the interior of enemy ships will now be white and visible instead of grey and invisible. I'm kind of tempted to buy a couple of power bars as well, because the power bar management is getting to be a bit of a pain in the tits. But we'll hang on to it just now. We need to go there to deliver the princess. Let's just go here. No one bothers you, and nothing to do here, so that's just a waste. Okay, 2 distress calls. Excellent. Blue option. You arrive at a distress beacon near a small asteroid belt and find a ship with pirate markings partially crushed between 2 large rocks. So let's carefully cut it out with our beam weapon. And we get 1 fuel, 1 missile, and 25 more scrap from the very thankful people we just rescued, even though they're pirates, so hurrah! You find a number of ships fleeing from a small space station. Alien spiders, leave them alone. No, not playing with alien spiders. How many turns do we think we do that, then exit? Okay. Quest, let's hand over the princess. A vast tunnel network near the surface indicates an advanced rock civilization. This must be where we've been asked to deliver the passenger. Realising arrival is imminent, the passenger pleads with you not to hand her over. Well, we're being paid to hand her over, so we're handing her over. And she's not very happy with us. She doesn't like arranged marriages, but we got 14 scrap and long-range scanners. Augments fit in these slots. You can only have 3 of them. This one adds additional information about nearby beacons on the star map. This is nice. As we see, anything which is 1 jump away from us will now have extra information about what it is. Possible ship detected. Possible ship detected. There's a store here, but it doesn't link to that, so we're not going to go to the store. We're going to go here, and then hopefully here, and then the exit. So now we've got this upgrade. We are forewarned that there is possibly a fight up here. It was a fight. A rock ship flies past your windows and you recognise outcast decorations on the hull. It's pirates. Let's pause. Okay, these guys have got an ion, which will take down one layer of shield, and the mini beam, which will do nothing to our one remaining layer of shield. So these guys cannot hurt us, so we don't need any evasion. Gives us enough power bars to fully power up the beam. They've got no teleporter, no med bay. Could go for a crew kill, but these guys have 150 health, so we're just going to let the big beam slice and dice. And after it's fired, we'll see what condition they're in and where the dual lasers need to go. You can just drag and drop your weapons around to reorder them. If you take damage, the damage is taken from the right to the left, so you always want your powered up weapon to be on the left. They don't seem to be doing anything, so we'll just bash the oxygen as well. Okay, we turned the oxygen off. I'm also going to turn the beam laser off completely. And we'll see how long it takes these guys to fix up their ship. Because they've got a lot of stuff to fix, and hopefully it will take them so long that all of the oxygen will be gone. No, you're going to go fix the oxygen. Right, that's fine. Big beam laser goes back on in that case. It was a decent strategy, but it didn't quite work out. Of course, that is a way that you can kill ships like this with very strong crew. If you can keep the oxygen room offline. I mean, the ion bomb would have been a great candidate for that, but we've only got 7 missiles. I didn't want to waste all my time doing that. The good thing about ion damage is that it cannot be repaired. So the ion bomb would turn off the oxygen for 4 ion damage, which I believe is 16 seconds. No, it's 5 seconds per ion damage. So this would, one ion bomb in the oxygen would depower it for 20 seconds, which is a very long time. Remember, this only takes 20 seconds to cycle. So theoretically, we could permanently keep the oxygen offline and just choke these guys out and get the crew kill. But it would take quite a while, and we've only got 7 missiles. Let's just finish them off with a dual laser, hopefully. There we go. So I am at least thinking about getting crew kills. We get 2 fuel, 1 missile, and 31 more scrap. That's good, 94 scrap, I like that. I'm going to hoard our scrap now. I really want to keep at least 85 scrap, because if we can find a store, there's something I want to buy which costs 85 scrap. If it's available. Possible ship detected, very close to a nearby sun. Well, there's nothing else for us to do in this sector, so we'll do this ping, even though we've been forewarned about an environmental danger. And there's the big sun. Unusual solar activity in this region means you need to get out quick. The rock pirate nearby apparently thinks otherwise as they move in to attack. So let's pause, have a look. They've got 2 lasers. One is a normal one that does 1 damage and will take down 1 shield, and the other one's a heavy laser, which will also take down 1 shield. These guys cannot hurt us, so we don't need evasion as long as we've got 2 shield. Now, this environmental danger, every now and then, the sun will send out solar flares, set fires on our ship, and set fires on their ship. But they're rocks, they're immune to fire. When rooms are on fire, anyone in the room will take damage over time, and the system will take damage over time, so you need to put them out as quick as you can. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open all the doors to the ship, including the outer ones. The hotkey for that is Z, so you press it once, it opens the internal doors, press it again, opens the external doors, and then we're going to close all the internal doors where our people are. Double check, and then I'm going to vent out the rest of the ship. So if any fires are set in any of these other rooms, they'll go out because the lack of oxygen will put them out. The only fear I have is if Debbie gets set on fire. A, Debbie's only got 70 health. B, this is a big room which has got plenty of room for fires to get set in. And C, if Debbie needs to run to the med bay, she'll have to run through deoxygenated rooms and probably die on the way. big risk. How we're going to kill them, we're just going to let big laser slice and dice. Getting the low O2 warning, there's only 22% oxygen left on the ship, but that's okay. Come on, big laser. Come on, artillery beam, spool up. Spool up. Here we go. That is the solar flare. Imminent warning. Okay. Where do our dual lasers need to go? I don't know. Shields probably. We're on fire, but it's in an empty room, so that won't go out. No one's taking damage, and it's set fire to their entire weapons room. So it's going to take him ages to put the fires out. You have to put the fires out before you can start repairing the systems. That's another reason why fires are really good. And fires will automatically spread if given the chance. So all four, when he came into the room, only 3 of the 4 squares were on fire. Then this top right square went on fire. And then he's put this one out, but there's still 3 fires, and they'll probably spread. Yep, it's spread again. He's put this one out now. He's put 2 out. Is the fire going to get a chance to spread? Here comes the next. Yep, the fire's now spread there. So if you can set fire to the enemy, it's a very good thing. The ship explodes, leaving a substantial collection of useful stuff. 3 fuel, 2 missiles, 23 scrap, and a combat drone Mark II. Right, let's wait for the fires to go out. Close the doors, reopen them, depower that, put the oxygen back to double, and we're going to leave before the next solar flare hits. So we'll just pause and escape now. And we're at the long range beacon. We can go to the next sector when we're ready. And someone gives us 15 scrap and a defense drone Mark I. Well, that's rather nice of them. Thank you. And wait for the oxygen to get to 100. Close the doors. Depower the oxygen. Well, that's the end of Sector 2 and the end of this video. Things is going pretty good. We've got an ion bomb. Someone gave us a defense drone Mark I and a combat drone Mark II. We've got long range scanners. Got 4 crew. Artillery beams being upgraded. We've got 132 scrap. The thing I was hoarding 85 scrap for was a drone control, which comes with a defense drone Mark I. That's random in the stores whether or not they have a drone control to sell at all and which drone it comes with. So 85 is what you need to buy a drone control which comes with a defense drone 1, but as I said, it's random. But the good thing is we have a defense drone 1 in cargo, so I can buy any drone control, doesn't matter what it comes with, and we can just sell whatever drone it comes with unless it's something else worth keeping. So that's good. That's saved us some money. Things is looking good. Power bar wise, we're not great. Ideally I'd go up to the 3rd layer of shield because we're meeting enemies with burst laser Mark IIs now. Basically we need to upgrade all the things. I could do with some better weapons. We can't always rely on the artillery beam unless we upgrade it, but that costs 80 plus another power bar to power it. It's effectively 100 to put this thing down to 20-second cooldown. 20 seconds is pretty good. It's about the same time as this bomb takes. 22 seconds. But it is 20 seconds because it's 10% faster because it's in a manned weapon room. So that would be good. We're still able to kill enemies. It's just we're having to be a little bit too micromanagey. So come back next time and we'll see how we get on in Sector 3, which will be... probably do the Zoltan homeworlds and then make a decision about red or purple after that. So come back for that, and until then, do look after yourself, and I'll talk to you again very soon.